Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a brief review of the new 72 count watercolor pencils from arrtx. Now, as you know, they have colored pencil sets, but they are clearly trying to branch out into watercolor pencils. So I'm rather interested to see how these look. And of course, I am going to compare these to some other brands that are in a similar category, such as Korilynn. More than likely they'll battle against Korilynn because they're about the same price point. I will also possibly compare them to Arteza and Castle Art, but the thing is they're not really. Arteza and Castle Art are a little bit more priced higher than arrtx and Korilynn, and to be honest, arrtx and Korilynn have become a little bit more stable brand-wise. So let's take a look. I should say budget brand-wise, right? So it came plastic wrapped. So we're gonna unbox it. Now, if you did their colored pencils, then you probably know they do some really cute packaging. All right, so on the back we have our colors. I mean, from here it looks like a good array, although I am going to be really bummed if that's honestly a white. All right, so looks like the top just slides off. And we're gonna have to fix that. Had to zoom out. Okay, so it slides right off, but then it does a fan effect, which is interesting. All right. Ooh, hang on. This swatch chart is watercolor paper. Yeah, it's more like a cardstock trying to be a watercolor paper, but it is definitely thick enough and perfect enough for what we need. And look at that, they even have it so you can do it dry and then swatch it wet, which is awesome. So we've got that in there. Looks like comes with a little paintbrush here. I will not be using a paintbrush, I'll be using a water brush solely because that's how I activate my watercolor pencils. Now, first things first, packaging is really pretty, but like when they did their colored pencils, there was foam at the bottom of these holding the pencils in place. There's no foam here. These are all loose. And I'm trying to see. Nope, it literally just goes straight to the bottom of the box. So the chances of having some broken leads, possibly broken cores, because of how these are in here and they shake around, so they probably got a good rattle. Alright, now it's got the hexagon shape. That's something you see with a lot of brands. They all like to just do the hexagon shape for watercolor. It does say made in China, arrtx, and then we have a barcode, which is interesting because they don't do open stock. And then we just have our color code name, so like AW327. The good news is they have the names on here though. So this is ultramarine. Okay, so yeah, this is how they look. So right off the bat, I would say packaging is a problem, but I'm not going to be too worried about it. I mean, so far I'm pulling a few of these out, and I don't have any broken tips. They did leave it with a nice blunt edge though, so that's always a good start. Had they sharpened them, it'd be another story. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna swatch these bad boys on camera so you can kind of get a peek at them and see how they work, and then I'll even activate them on camera, and then I will be coloring a page, not on camera, off camera, and then doing my handy dandy worksheet that if you have watched my channel long enough, you should be pretty familiar with the battle worksheet, because I cannot compare these to Korilynn without a battle worksheet. But also I will compare them to a few other brands that are artist grade as well, just to see, but these are being put in the budget category because they are, well, affordable. And good news, if you're curious, because you see 72, and I know what you're thinking because they did this with their colored pencils. They are expanding this line, but here's the thing. Do you need more than 72 colors for watercolor pencils? No. I do not like the fact that they threw a white in there, though. Such a waste. But it is what it is. It'll be interesting when they do release a larger set what we have, but we're going off of this, and then we'll go from there. So let's get swatching, I guess. All right, everyone, it is time to let you know what I think about these arrtx watercolor pencils. These are the absolute worst watercolor pencil I've ever encountered. Yeah, it's really insane because as you guys have known, I've been working on watercolor pencil comparisons and battles for a few months, so I've tested a lot of watercolor pencils, like a lot. We're talking at least 3 dozen now. And so I had high hopes with arrtx because they make a decent colored pencil, but these watercolor pencils are the worst thing I have ever used, and I can't even bother to recommend them. They're horrid. Horrid. I don't know if you noticed while I was swatching. I even did like some ASMR videos because I was like, well, here we go. But they're very scratchy on this paper that was provided. But also look at the way they dissolve. Like, they don't dissolve. A lot of them don't dissolve. The color barely moves over. So you see all the white space? Like, there's no drag to these things. Some of them are so light. Like, these colors are basically useless. I mean, the color payout is horrid, but again, look at the dissolving here. So I was going to break out my worksheet that I normally use, and I decided not to bother because, well, they're that bad. I even attempted to use them, and again, I was like sitting there, and the colors would not dissolve. Look at that. See there? No dissolving whatsoever. They're very scratchy. Look at the colors. They don't even, granted, a watercolor pencil should be muted, you know, and have that effect of watercolor. But this has like zero vibrancy. And just for comparison, I was using this one here. Yeah, not so much. And this one and this one. And then I even added in some of this plant yellow color here. But they just were doing horrible. I stopped and didn't even bother finishing this page because I was like, well, this is going to be an epic battle. I mean, look at how many where they just didn't even dissolve with my water brush. So, yeah, these are awful. And I don't really need to spend much more of your time watching this video other than to say, do not waste your money on these. I like can't even give these away unless one of you really wants these, but I did sharpen them just to see if like sharpening helped. It didn't. Every single one of them is scratchy, very, very scratchy on the paper. And like I said, the dissolving is, I can't even imagine. I don't know why they released this product. I like sent them an email and said, guys, you might want to look into this because they don't dissolve, they don't drag. Even used dry, they are horrible. Now, did I just get a really, really bad batch and some bad luck? Maybe. But I'm not going to go spend my money and test it again. So, yeah, not even going to use the worksheet with these because I can't even swatch these or color with them. The worksheet's just going to be the same thing. I had multiple papers and I was trying to get them to dissolve. Nada. I mean, just awful. Like, look at these. This is just, ugh, it's horrible. I had hopes that they would have a decent watercolor pencil because, I mean, oh, an Arteza snuck in there. But my arrtx ones. I had decent, like, you know, high hopes that they would be somewhat decent because, well, arrtx makes pretty good products when it comes to their acrylic paint pens. Their colored pencil, like I said, is pretty decent. But yeah, this is a product that arrtx needs to really take their name off of and just walk away. That or do a really big revamp. But this is horrible. Not worth the money, not worth anything. And sadly, it took me so long to review these, I can't even return them. So I'm out the money on those, but at least it was only like 20-something dollars. But even then, I'm kind of angry about 20-something bucks going to these. So sorry guys, I wish I could say these were worth it. I was going to put them in the watercolor pencil battle, but absolutely not because, well, I can't recommend these at all. They were incredibly hard to just swatch. It took me days. I had to like literally walk away because the noise was killing me. So thanks for hanging out. Sorry I can't give you good news, but in the comments below, let me know if you have gotten these and tried them and they were better than this. Like, I mean, did you have better performance on the paper? Did they dissolve? Were they really, really scratchy for you? I'm just kind of curious because I've tried all sorts of brands, very cheap brands, very high-end brands, and I have never seen a watercolor pencil this bad. Like this is like honestly the worst one I've ever used. So that's why I'm like, is this just a really bad defective, batch? So I'd be curious to know. Like I said, I did email the company and let them know, but I still have to review on what I got because I did pay money for these. And like I said, I'm not about to go shell out another 20 bucks and just see if it was a bad batch. So let me know in the comments below if you've had a better experience, and maybe if I get enough of you saying that you didn't have the same experience, I'll try them again. But if not, this is the verdict. So until next time, take care. Bye now.